Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, this is chapter wise important points for the CET that you are going to write in upcoming week. Okay, so I have completed solid state. I hope you have gone through. I hope you find that one useful. Okay, and likewise, I have taken a solution chapter where, like, in a short time, if you refer these points, okay, and the a simple trick that I'll going to tell, okay, with that, so within a short time you can prepare for this chapter. Okay, so then why to wait, let us start. So first one is like, when it comes to a solution, as you all know, it consists of a two parts, the solvent and the solute. Solvent will be in a larger quantity and the solute will be in a minor quantity. But as the idea that we have is that solvent always like a liquid, what we have learned till date, and the solute should be a solid. Okay, but the solvent can be a solid, the solvent can be a liquid, and the solvent can be a gas. Ultimately what, that should be in a larger quantity. Okay, and the solute can be a solid, can be a liquid, can be a gas, and that should be in a minor quantity. So based on this combination, there are three types of a solution, that is a solid solution, a liquid solution, and the gaseous solution. Okay, so what you have to remember here is, when I use a word solid solution, solid is a solvent here. Okay, that you have to remember. Solid solution means the solvent is a solid. Liquid solution means the solvent is a liquid, and the gaseous solution means the solvent is a gas. With that name, whatever the name that we have given for the solution, the solvent will be that only. Okay, that's a trick you have to remember. When I say solid solution, solvent is solid. Okay, now if the solvent is solid, as I told, the solute can be of a different state, right? So if the solvent is solid, okay, and the solute is gas, and means like the solute that I have taken is in a minor quantity, which is that gas, and the solvent in a larger quantity. So with this combination, we have to give an example, that is hydrogen in palladium. So palladium is a solid, okay, which will going to act as a catalyst, okay, in a larger quantity, with which will going to pass a hydrogen gas during hydrogenation. Okay, so hydrogen, which is a gas taken in a minor quantity on the surface of a palladium, which is taken in a larger quantity. So this is an example for the solid solution in which the solute is gas. This is how you need to learn. Okay, now come to liquid in solid. So this is, just remember, liquid in solid means in a larger quantity of a solid, we have a little amount of a liquid as a solute. So the combination is amalgam, mercury amalgam with a sodium. Okay, so that you can say, okay, so here sodium and the mercury amalgam will be present. With that, what I can say, mercury amalgam, which is liquid in condition, will be present along with a sodium metal. Okay, metal is taken in a larger quantity, which is solid, okay, and the mercury amalgam is taken. Okay, so now come to solid in solid, means both the solute is solid and the solvent is solid, means a copper plus gold. Okay, that's an alloy. You can give an example of a many alloy. Okay, so many metals will be combined, especially when I say gold, you're not going to get a pure gold. With that, you will be having, they will going to mix a little amount of a copper with that. Okay, so copper solid, which is smaller in quantity, that is mixed with a larger quantity of a gold. Okay, so these are the examples you have to remember, and based on this one, you're going to get a question. Okay, so similarly, when I say liquid solution, the solvent is liquid. Okay, so now if the solvent is liquid, solute is gas, so you can give an example of a dissolved oxygen in water. Okay, so that's one example. Water, which is in a larger quantity, will be having a oxygen in a dissolved condition, which is in a minor quantity. So similarly, when I say a second, liquid in a liquid, that's just observe how I am reading it. Liquid in a liquid, that is in a solvent liquid, we have mixed the little amount of another liquid, that is C2H5OH with water. So in a larger quantity of a water, we will going to add a ethyl alcohol to a minor quantity just to dilute it. Okay, HCl plus water, that also you can give example. Okay, now come to next one, solid in liquid. So when I say solid in liquid, liquid is in a larger quantity acting as a solvent and solid. So solid, salt plus water, sugar plus water, ammonium chloride plus water, like you can give a many examples. Okay, so now This is what the general solvent solution will going to observe, right? So now come to gaseous solution. As the name is itself indicating, gas is a solvent here. Okay, so now gas in gas. Okay, solute is also gas, solvent is also gas. So you can give an example of a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen, or you can give an example of a air. Okay, that also you can give an example. Okay, so like when I say oxygen plus nitrogen, both the gas have mixed. Okay, that's a solution. Okay, now liquid in gas. So in a gas which is larger quantity, I have mixed little amount of a liquid. Okay, that is chloroform in nitrogen. In a nitrogen gas we have mixed chloroform. Okay, so solid in gas, so camphor in nitrogen, that's also an example. Okay, so these are the types of a solution, the examples you have to remember. Okay, when they say particular a type of a solution, the name is nothing but a solvent. Okay, that's a trick you have to remember. Now come to some formula. See, molarity denoted by capital M. Okay, so formula WB into 1000 by MB into V. Now what do you mean by B and A? That the term you have to remember. In some cases they'll go into you W1 by M2, like that. Okay, here remember, A is nothing but a solvent, B is nothing but a solute. Okay, WB weight of the solute into 1000, MB molar mass of the solute into volume. Okay, so what is the unit formula you have to remember? Unit of a molarity is mole per dm3. So molality, that is small m, WB into 1000, WA into MB. Okay, so difference. So here we have taken a volume, here we have taken a weight consideration. Okay, so mole per kg is the unit. Now N is the number of moles. In some cases they're going to give a number of moles directly. In some cases if they have not given number of moles, you have to use this formula. This is applicable everywhere. Even in the mole concept also you have to remember this formula. How are you going to calculate the number of moles? Number of moles is equal to mass by molar mass. Okay, the mass, how much they have given, and the molar mass of that particular compound which they have given. Okay, so now come to next one, mole fraction. X represents the mole fraction. If I want to find out the mole fraction of a Na divided by Na plus Nb. N means what? Number of moles of A divided by total number of moles of A plus B. Similarly, if I want to find out the mole fraction of a B component, Nb divided by Na plus Nb. And this value you have to remember, Xa plus the total mole fraction in a given solution always equal to 1. This is a standard equation or the formula you have to remember. Okay. Now come to next one. This is Henry's law. Okay, so here partial pressure is directly proportional to the, what I can say, the pressure directly proportional to the solubility, I could say, or directly proportional to the mole fraction. This Kh is nothing but a Henry's constant. So dear students, based on this one you will going to get a question. Okay, based on the value of this Henry's constant, the solubility of a gas in liquid depends. How? See here, X is equal to P divided by Kh. Okay, so X is the mole fraction and this is pressure and this is Henry's constant. How this mole fraction and the Kh are related? They are inversely proportional. Means what? Higher the value of Kh, lower is the solubility of a gas. Okay, if the gas is highly soluble, then its Kh value is low. If the gas is very less soluble, then the Kh value is high. This is how it is related, and based on this concept, you may get the question. Okay, you have to remember this relation. Now come to 8th one, Raoult's law. So Raoult's law, here the pressure, the partial pressure at that particular temperature, okay, that component is directly proportional to the mole fraction. That is, Pa is equal to P naught A into Xa. Pa is the pressure, vapor pressure, okay, and of a solution. P naught A is a vapor pressure of that particular pure component. So total pressure is equal to Pa plus Pb. Okay, so now what is ideal solution? The solution which obeys Raoult's law. Okay, so what are the condition? Delta H upon mixing is 0, delta V upon mixing is 0. This is a condition you have to remember. Now, the examples for the ideal solution you have to remember, because based on this one you will going to get a question. Okay, so just observe the examples for the ideal solution. Everywhere you are getting an organic, what I can say, the solvent. Okay, nowhere you are finding an inorganic like any acid HCl or nitric acid or like that, you are not getting anywhere. Okay, so here you could see benzene, toluene. Okay, this is how you had to remember. Ideal solution, benzene, toluene. Carbon tetrachloride, silicon tetrachloride. Okay, chlorobenzene, bromobenzene. Just remember the pronunciation, that how we will going to do chlorobenzene, bromobenzene. Okay, and n-hexane, n-pentene, ethylene bromide, ethylene chloride, ethylene bromide, ethylene iodide. Sorry, ethyl bromide, ethyl iodide. Okay, almost the organic component you are seeing here. Okay, so this is how you have to remember ideal solution. Now come to non-ideal solution. So non-ideal solution condition is delta H upon mixing is not equal to 0, delta V upon mixing is not equal to 0. Okay, so not equal to 0 means they can be greater than 0, they can be less than 0. So based on that one, a non-ideal solution with a positive deviation, non-ideal solution with a negative deviation. Okay, so when I say positive deviation, delta H upon mixing is greater than 0, delta V upon mixing is greater than 0, the vapor pressure of that component is greater than P naught A into XA. Okay, so just opposite of that one is negative deviation. So these conditions you have to remember. Okay, now the example. See, these are the positive deviation example, these are the negative deviation example. So you could observe a little point over here. When I say negative deviation, you could see the inorganic acids, nitric acid, HCl. Okay, so you could see such type of a combination, but here again you are seeing in most of the cases acetone, alcohol, water. Okay, see, acetone, ethyl alcohol, acetone, CS2, water, methyl alcohol, water, ethyl alcohol, carbon tetrachloride, toluene. Okay, acetone, in both the cases I could find acetone, but acetone, alcohol, here repeatedly you are getting a alcohol, where in case of a positive deviation. Okay, acetone, CS2, and water, methyl alcohol, water, ethyl alcohol, carbon tetrachloride, toluene. Okay, so now come here. When it comes to negative deviation, acetone, aniline. Okay, acetone mixed with the organic solvent. Okay, so acetone, both are organic solvents. So here you could see, okay, acetone and aniline, water, nitric acid. So here you are getting a inorganic acid, water, HCl, acetic acid, pyridine, chloroform, benzene. So here you could see a presence of a chloroform. Okay, so this is how, like, you had to read once or twice, you had to practice, and you had to use some methods of remembering, then it becomes very easy. Okay, so now the next point, colligative properties. Okay, so there are some colligative properties which depends on the number of solute particles, not on the nature of a solute particles. Okay, so they may ask you a question based on this one, on what does the colligative property depends? It depends on the number of solute particles, that is N. So the formula you have to remember, relative lowering of a vapor pressure is equal to P naught A minus PA divided by P naught A is equal to XP. Okay, what is XP? Mole fraction of a solute. Okay, now if I want to find out the molar mass of the solute by using the relative lowering of vapor pressure, remember one thing, colligative property and the molar mass of the solute are inversely proportional. Okay, you could observe all the formula, then we'll get to know colligative properties and the molar mass of the solute are inversely proportional to each other. Okay, so likewise, MB is equal to WB into MA P naught A divided by WA into P naught A minus PA. Okay, so MB, molar mass of the solute, WB, weight of the solute, MA, molar mass of the solvent, WA, weight of the solvent. Okay, P naught A, that is pressure, vapor pressure or partial pressure of a pure component. When the naught comes, okay, 0 comes at the upper, okay, it is for the pure solvent. Okay, now come to next one. This is elevation in boiling point. Okay, elevation in boiling point, delta TB is equal to KB into M. M is molality. Okay, so KB is called ebullioscopic constant. So its unit is, SI unit is Kelvin kg per mole. You may get the question based on this one. Now how are we going to find out delta TB? TB minus T naught B. What is TB? Boiling point of the solution minus boiling point of the pure solvent. Okay, now come, how we are going to find out the molar mass of the solute related with the elevation in boiling point? MB is equal to KB into WB into 1000 divided by delta TB into WA. Okay, you could observe molar mass of the solute, colligative property, they are inversely proportional here. Okay, molar mass of the solute and the colligative property are inversely proportional. So here depression in freezing point delta Tf is equal to Kf into m. Okay. Kf is cryoscopic constant. Kelvin kg per mole is again the unit. How are we going to find out the depression in freezing point? T naught F minus Tf. Okay. Now the same type formula here I have not written. So if I want to find out the MB value by using this depression in freezing point, so it is Kf into WB into 1000 divided by delta Tf into WA. Okay, so if you remember one formula, another formula you can write. Instead of Kb, what I am using Kf. Instead of delta Tb, what I am using delta Tf. Okay, this is how. Now come to next one. The osmotic pressure is equal to CRT. C is nothing but a concentration. Okay, that is molarity. So in place of a C, I could put number of moles of the solute dissolved in a given volume of the solution. Okay, so pi is equal to CRT, pi is equal to NBRT by V, or MB if I want to find the molar mass of the solute, WBRT divided by pi into V. Okay, again pi, which is an colligative property, and the molar mass of the solute are inversely proportional. Okay, so that is what I have written. Molecular mass is inversely proportional to the colligative property. Molecular mass of what? Of solute. Okay, this a degree of dissociation on the want of factor, how they are related. Alpha is equal to I minus 1 divided by n minus 1. Okay, degree of association and the want of factor, how they are related. Alpha is equal to I minus 1 divided by n minus 1. Okay, so these are the important points that you have to remember. Okay, from the solution chapter, at least the formula and the method of remembering the example for the ideal and the non-ideal solution, everything if you remember, if you go with these points, at least it may help you to grab the points in a shorter. Okay, so in next video I will going to give some extra points or the important points from the chemical kinetics. Okay, thank you.